Hey, here's the shocking news. Yandy Smith, the queen of hustle and the embodiment of strength, is currently fighting for her life in the intensive care unit, despite medical professionals stating that her situation was severe. But when they abruptly declare that she is doing better, things take an odd turn. Close friends are demanding, and fans are startled. Responses, and there are whispers of a cover-up going around the love and hip-hop scene. Is it possible that someone fears the revelation of the truth? Behind those hospital doors, is there a big scandal? Above all, what are the physicians concealing? There are alarming rumors that Yandy Smith was mysteriously admitted to the intensive care unit. She was in serious condition when the doctors first said that, but they are now saying that she is getting better without giving a specific reason. What do they have hidden? Given how oddly the scenario is unfolding, fans are clamoring for answers. Yandy is out enjoying herself 1 minute, and then she's hardly conscious and been transferred to critical care. And to make things even more shocking, other people who have no business being at the hospital have also shown up. The actual event started only a few hours before the chaos. At a high-profile business gathering in Atlanta, Yandy was surrounded by celebrities, influencers, and executives. People who saw her said she was in a good mood. Everything seemed to be proceeding normally around 1:30 a.m., laughing, taking pictures, networking, etc. But suddenly something changed. Others noticed Yandy acting suspiciously and clinging to her tummy as though she wasn't feeling good. She stopped talking as much and instead came across as aloof and distracted, and the atmosphere around her shifted. Then she passed out. Call 911, call 911, people said as they rushed forward. And as the venue echoed with shouting, beverages began to spill. Security pulled people away in an effort to clear the space around her as soon as the story went viral on social media. Paramedics arrived in a matter of minutes and were shown administering ground treatment to her. She was barely conscious when they got her into the ambulance. It doesn't make sense to pray for Yandy because she was undoubtedly fine before what happened. Consequently, someone ought to start talking. But why isn't someone voicing their concerns? When celebrities started sending enigmatic messages with prayer emojis, but no one was giving any details, things started to get fishy. What was being hidden, and why wasn't anyone telling the truth? 3 A&M's Harris dropped everything and rushed to the hospital like a man possessed as soon as he got the message that Yandy had been formally moved to the intensive care unit. He looked scared when he got there, and the hospital staff tried to comfort him. Not only did Yandy's closest friends and relatives start to show up at the hospital, but also other people who hadn't been in her life for years, so the strangeness didn't stop there. Although the doctors were making every effort to assist him, sir, they were not truly responding to his inquiries. It wasn't really shocking when Kimbella showed up. Despite their ups and downs, Kimbella and Yandy have been friends for years, so it would appear that she would be there when Erica Mena showed up. But why was she there? Since it's well known that Yandy and Erica have never gotten along, her arrival in the middle of the night raised a... There was a lot of eyebrow raising, and it didn't end there. Additionally, other business insiders who hadn't seen Yandy in years started to arrive. Fans were arriving, reporters were gathering, and paparazzi cameras were flashing nonstop outside the hospital. At exactly 4:07 in the morning, something even. A new person showed up. That doesn't make sense. What do you mean? How could he have paced back and forth while arguing with the person on the other end of that conversation and been caught on camera? A doctor's face instantly went from concern to enraged as he said something to me. What do you mean that doesn't make sense? He yelled as he raced out of the hospital, holding the phone. His face looked completely shaken when he finally hung up. What information about the caller did they give him? The hospital increased security, blocked off halls, and stopped responding to inquiries from physicians and nurses just when you thought things couldn't get any stranger. Why was everyone being so secretive if Yandy was really feeling well as they claimed? There was a problem. As further details emerged, it became clear that this was a far more dangerous scenario than anyone had first believed. After Yandy was brought to the intensive care unit, hours had gone by, and still no one had given a satisfactory explanation for what had transpired. She was stable but under surveillance, according to the hospital staff's vague statement. But what did that even imply if she was truly all right? People were chattering in the hallways, wondering why security had suddenly tightened. And then Ems vanished, which sparked rumors that this wasn't just a random medical problem. He was pacing back and forth, shouting on the phone and appearing enraged one minute, and then he was gone, asking where he went and why he wasn't with him. Some stories state that Yandy had too many people were showing up there, which is the issue. Only close friends and family were present at first, but by 5 in the morning, an increasing number of unexpected faces started to show up. This was something much worse, something personal. Others said, "Rich bucks have arrived, you heard correctly." Rich, Dallas, this man, who had been absent from Yandy's circle for years, suddenly showed up in the middle of the night as though he had a crucial hospital appointment, and he wasn't alone. Now wait a minute. Chrissy Lehman, the same Chrissy who faced Yandy in some of the most dramatic and furious fights in love and hip-hop history, the same woman who once said that. Why was she in Yandy's room when she will never be again? In the waiting room, there was a lot of anxiety. Kimbella was sitting off on the side, seeming nervous, when Rich and Chrissy came in. Erica looked upset as she paced and checked her phone. No one said anything for a long time, only long, cold stares that seemed to indicate they were analyzing one another in their minds. Erica asked, "What are you all doing here?" as they were getting ready for battle. When Rich calmly but firmly declared that he needed answers, Chrissy hurried in, but Erica wasn't buying it. "No, you are not allowed to act worried at this time. Before all of this, where were you? For years, you have been a ghost." Erica, screaming won't help them. "Speedier, so why don't you unwind? Yandy would have laughed in your face if she had known you were there." Erica was already upset, so Camilla tried to defuse the situation, but it was too late. "You want to talk about being laid back, of all people." Chrissy's eyes rolled, but the elevator doors opened before she could turn around, and guess who came out? He didn't have his normal face. "Pale, what's going on?" Rich questioned, stepping forward. Mezzi swallowed hard, as though he was at a loss for words, and then he said, "They're lying to us." He looked like he had just seen a ghost, and his eyes were red. There was silence in the room. As he waited to discover who was lying about what, Kimbella's eyes widened, and Dee wiped his face, appearing irritated, exhausted, and straight up. Since the hospital and physicians were upset and not giving us the real picture, everyone was on edge at this point. When did they tell you? Because Erica crossed her arms. They want us to think that since she delivered a bitter laugh and was stable the last time we heard from her. But without warning me, they just relocated her to a different level, and there was quiet before chaos. They said it was a precaution when I asked why, but they avoided the subject when I asked what it meant. Without telling you, Kimbella got up and waited to see what they had done to her. Messis gave a nod. Chrissy was genuinely concerned in spite of everything. Thus, it seems illogical that they would relocate her without providing an explanation. Then Rich came forward, suggesting that they had something to conceal. Although Rich isn't exactly the most trustworthy person in the world, his manner of speaking as though he knew something that no one else did made everyone uncomfortable. Rich paused as I turned to face him, surveying the room as though he wasn't sure whether or not to say it. Then, everyone, he did, and it wasn't a coincidence. Froze. Rich lowered his voice and leaned in as though he didn't want some people nearby. "It bothers me that Yandy collapsed suddenly because she wasn't just passing out. She was oak the entire night." Kimbella's mouth dropped open. "What are you discussing? You believe she was harmed by someone?" "Man, that isn't logical." Mrs. gave a head shake. He was interrupted by the real Rich. "You will be shocked by what follows because the truth is going to be revealed, and it is more repulsive than anyone could have ever imagined. If this wasn't only a medical issue, then someone in that room knew more than they were admitting, which is when the true paranoia began. The question is, who had something to gain? The waiting room's tight atmosphere made it feel like a The bomb was detonating. Nessie looked at Rich, his hands clenched, and Rich took a deep breath before they locked eyes. Dude, what on earth are you trying to say? Simply spit it out. I'm saying somebody wanted Yandy out of the way, and I got a damn good idea who. The whole room froze. It was Erica who finally snapped, saying, "Oh my God, you're not going to sit here and pretend to be a detective. I don't have to be there to see what's in front of me," and Rich wasn't going to back down. "You're speculating now that I haven't been around for years. Rethink your thoughts. You guys seem to believe that everyone is ecstatic about Yandy's amazing moves." As though someone actually attempted to persuade Rich to nod. And that's when M lost it. "You're saying that this is prearranged. Who would act in that way?" Kimbella took a deep breath. Rich raised his hands in front of her. When Rich finally spoke to Judy after taking a long breath and seeming grave, it was the actual bombshell. "I don't have proof mice grabbed him by the collar, and I don't give a damn about proof who did this in y'all." "My mother, you're out of your damn mind," Rich said, blinking, but he remained unflinching. "She couldn't have been unaware of something. She has been talking about Yandy nonstop for months. And now, for no apparent reason, she is in the intensive care unit." Rich gets pushed back while you do the math. "Quit talking, dude. That's my mom. Even though she doesn't always like Yandy, she never would. When I last checked, Chrissy was yelling that Yandy was ruining you and taking her baby boy, so she had her arms crossed. Because people want to eliminate threats, that woman views Yandy as a threat." DC shook his head, but his face took on a distressed look. He questioned whether his mother would really get that far before vanishing like clockwork, because he knew deep down that she had never really accepted Yandy and had always been bitter, always bringing up gossip and drama. When M's phone rang, he pulled it out, and his stomach dropped when he saw Judy's name on the screen. He stopped, his hand lingering over the answer button, and then gently responded, "Ma." Everyone watched. With a low, shaky voice, she said, "Mrs. Baby, we need to talk." As he talked about what Judy had taken, the room became quiet, and he gripped the phone more tightly. Inhaling deeply, "I didn't want this to happen, but everyone's blood ran cold. I just wanted her to slow down and stop making you choose between us. This isn't how it was supposed to be. I swear on my life, honey, that I never wanted this to happen, and I never meant for her to be hurt." M's mouth clenched. "Ma, what did you do?" "In order to temporarily halt Judy's wailing, I had someone put something in her drink to make her weak. But I swear, sweetie, I had no idea it would get this bad or send her to the hospital." The room erupted as DC stumbled backward as if he had been hit in the stomach. "Ma," the room seemed to be spinning. Erica's jaw dropped. Kimbella's hands went directly to her mouth. "Oh God, can you hear yourself now? My wife was drugged by you." Chrissy gave a head shake. It felt like he was out of breath this time, but I knew the woman was suspicious. I did not intend to insult him, and Judy was crying. Without more words, he abruptly disconnected the conversation and turned to the group, his eyes flaming. "She will pay for this, I assure you." Everyone held their breath and turned to face the doctor when he finally entered the room. The doctor cleared his throat and appeared uncertain. With his arms folded, "What's the move, Rich? This is a crime, not simply family turmoil anymore. She will be charged," Me said, nodding now. "Even if she's my mother, I don't care. Mr. Harris, we need to talk about." Men in the same situation as Yandy DC have made progress. Is she awake and doing well? The doctor groaned. "She is stable, but there are issues." "What do complications mean to you?" M has a twisted stomach. Everyone knew what the doctor was going to say as he looked around and turned to face MES. "Terrible, and you people are the real deal."